So tonight we are doing another Brad Stine, or as he's known in the biz, Whiny Stiny. His next chapter, he doesn't he doesn't actually claim he deserves an Oscar, but we'll get into why I titled the video a little bit that way. All that and more on
Zidanza.
Yeah.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Boys and girls, ladies and gents, envies and friends. It's another episode of Zidanza. And guess what? Hey, it's the 99th episode of Zidanza, according to Zod. How crazy is that? We got to celebrate next week and do something. So there'll be 100 streams. So
leave us a comment in the web zone if you have an idea for how we should celebrate.
Yeah, tell us. I'm glad you caught that because there's no way in hell I would ever go back and check.
Well, the way I know is that I label each. I create a folder for each show with just episode whatever, and so I've noticed. I've just seen it coming up that way.
Well, good of you to be organized and to know that because I would not have known that. But hey. Everybody, welcome. I saw at least one person, one Zidanza fan IRL this weekend at the Atheist Community of Austin back cruise. So that was cool to be recognized from Zidanza and not from other stuff. And they said that they were a big fan of you. They've seen all your stuff. And I don't think they've seen all of my stuff, but that's okay, Zod. Because there's two people that make up this show. I'm the Dan in the Zidanza, and you're the Zod. So that's
different strokes for different folks. Like nobody's
about Brad Stine.
What's that?
We talked a lot about Brad Stine.
Oh, nice.
This person, because she was like, I didn't know anything about Brad Stine until you started watching this. I was like, I didn't either. I didn't know who he was. So,
I guess we're famous for being the Brad Stine people.
We're all kind of blessed that way, I think.
True story. I was doing a Google image search for pictures to use for this. And as I was, you get your initial image and then you click on those things beneath it.
Mm-hmm.
Not too far down one of those strings of images was the thumbnail for our first Brad Stine video. Just searching for Brad Stine.
Yes. Yes.
So if we found it, it's not impossible that somebody else found it.
That's great. That's awesome. We're just a small part of the history here. So we may watch, I don't know what we're going to do afterwards because according to you, this is actually the shortest chapter of the book so far. So
by quite a bit. Yeah, they've been running 15-ish pages, maybe just a little above 10. And today suddenly we hit like a 4.5 page one, which is really strange. I guess he was just tired that day, or maybe couldn't find ways to make it about himself. He couldn't find a story about being a whiny little baby about how people in churches treat him about being an edgy comedian.
Right.
I don't know.
And then the next one is like 20 pages, so we can't really do two in one episode. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, well, no, we'll be good. I mean, by the time we do one of these, I just take it a little leisurely and maybe do a love dare or something like that. I think we'll be totally good. But yeah, this one is called, this is the reason I was just, I wasn't trying to be clickbaity because he doesn't really act like he deserves an Oscar in this, but you have to think of something to call these things. And this one's titled "The Oscar Goes to ...
Okay. All right. Okay. That's weird, but all right.
Would you like to know what Assumed Truth 7 is? By the way, we're on 7 of the 11 truths.
Assumed Truth 7? No. Yes, I would like to know.
All Christians will come to the same conclusion about what is appropriate Christian behavior.
Okay. So, all right. I'm gonna let him do his thing because he's gonna go off the rails in about 30 seconds, and we'll see what happens. Is it gonna be a fart joke this time? Another one? Perhaps using bad language. I don't know. We'll see.
Will the first word just be nipples exclamation
Nipple.
point?
Oh yeah, that's classic.
Yeah, David says you could do 2 chapters, but you're just scared. That's probably true.
There's only so much Stine we can take, you know. But anyway,
Drew Harrison's looking to just bring up the energy in the room by saying we're going to talk about the death of General Zod. So yeah, the Terrence Stamp who played General Zod, he passed away, so that's sad.
Oh, but I didn't know that.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, I guess I'm out of the loop.
You just don't care.
Yeah, basically.
There's somebody at my work looks exactly like General Zod.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you tell him that?
No.
I have a coworker that looks exactly like Jason Momoa.
Oh, really?
Yes. And not only have our coworkers said that, but also at least one client has said that, which is it's like if you're gonna look like a celebrity, Jason Momoa is like not a bad one to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So good for him.
I saw somebody look like Jason Momoa once.
Yeah.
It was Jason Momoa.
Whoa. That's crazy. Wait,
I
really?
know.
Did you actually see? Wait, I feel like you told me this story before. Anyway.
I feel like I did too.
Yeah.
I feel like I probably told it in front of everybody already.
Yeah. Really good content. Good content.
The guy at my work who looks like him, I only see him over Teams and like in big meetings. But I mentioned a couple other people and they're like, they start laughing and yeah, he exactly looks like him. But we're not here to talk about sadly passed away General Zod, who also played Chancellor Valorum in a movie of other quality. Let's just see if I can start pissing off the eye.
Yeah. Keep it going. It's really good.
Let's direct their anger toward Brad Stine. That's an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
I've learned you can get away with saying anything if you follow it up with stuff Brad Stine said. They'll instantly forget whenever any transgression.
That's the secret. Yeah.
Yep.
I agree with you there. What else do you need?
So this is an interesting assumed truth. Number one, it's just kind of wonky and like, I don't know, it doesn't roll off the tongue. All Christians will come to the same conclusion about what is appropriate Christian behavior. But I feel like this truth has kind of been, I feel like this has been something he's touched on in a lot of other chapters. So I feel like this is just kind of a rehash. Doesn't he talk about this a lot? Like
he basically conceptually kind of talks about this already. Yeah. I mean, like the whole nipples thing is basically the same concept, right? Like what's appropriate for some Christians isn't appropriate for other Christians. So yeah.
Yeah, that's what a lot of these chapters are, is like different versions of it. As much as this is actually talking about Christians instead of, just taking side shots at non-believers or liberals, these are all about different variations on this, about drinking, it's all about different conclusions that people think you should have a single legalistic stand on. And so now he's just speaking about it as a generality. So I guess we'll just let him cook, huh? As the kids say.
Yeah, let's let him cook. Let's let him see. Let's see what he has to say. I'm sure it's wonderful and full of great wisdom.
He starts by posing a question. What standard should Christian actors use in determining what roles they will portray? I remember searching this out myself when I was in acting class.
Oh, great. Can you imagine? Oh, that's awesome.
He's not really coming in with the hard-hitting humor at the start of this one. But I just think it's unintentionally funny that he's taken an acting class. He just doesn't strike me as somebody who has.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, from the little movie footage I've seen, yeah, he doesn't strike me as the guy who's ever taken an acting class. I'm assuming this is like he took it one time and then didn't go back ever again, maybe. And he's like, oh yeah, when I was in acting school, kind of like making a mountain out of a molehill, maybe.
Yeah, he sounds like Tobias from Arrested Development.
Right.
I am an actor.
Yeah, exactly.
He was probably totally insufferable and uncooperative and kept, whoever was teaching it just pushed him through to get him out. Anyway, I remember searching this out myself when I was in acting class. So what roles should a Christian play? Some of the roles, surprisingly enough, weren't written with a Christian worldview in mind! Exclamation point. Some involved language and behavior I don't use in daily life. Parentheses, or at least try not to.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Not everybody in Hollywood or who makes movies makes them according to your personal concept of religion. Whoa. Sorry about that, dude.
That's pretty crazy. That's pretty wild. I don't know. You're losing me here, Brad. This is too big of a concept. I'm not sure if I can keep up with this, but
okay, he's gonna narrow it in here. He's gonna bring us into a little bit of comedy.
All right.
Christians really need to come up with their own version of a curse word.
Don't they already do that? Isn't that like, oh yeah. gosh dang it? Isn't that a Christian curse word already?
Yeah.
Cheese and crackers instead of Jesus Christ.
Yep.
I feel like that's it. I feel like we've got it already.
Yeah, that's a good point. But he has something else in mind, I think.
Okay.
Jessica, the Transmetal Alchemist, says heavens.
Yeah.
Something to say when we hit our thumb with a hammer, because I guarantee you when something like that happens, you will verbally express your feelings! Exclamation point. Yeah. And in parentheses, he says, actually, most of the prophets' names would work well. Zechariah, I stepped on a tack.
Oh man, that's really fucking corny. That sounds like some shit they'd say on Full House.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, wow.
Even
okay.
That was a dumb concept to begin with for a joke, but his execution, like Zechariah doesn't really roll off your tongue as a curse word, right?
Yeah.
And then like, I stepped on a tack. Like I don't know. He has to convey, I guess, why the person's swearing, but like, nobody's like, oh darn, I stepped on a tack. Like, whatever.
I guess instead of being like, fuck, I stepped on a tack, you're just gonna say, Zechariah, I stepped on a tack. Yeah, that doesn't really, I don't know. Yeah, it's awkward either way, honestly.
You know what this reminds me of is that I forget the guy's name. Is a now disgraced comedian. The one who like touched himself. Yeah, Louis C.K. Mm-hmm. Where he talked about like what people did before. There's just something about the phrase Jesus Christ that really cleans out your system. He's like, what did people do before Jesus? Like, what did they say? So he says, imagine the disciples at the cross, standing at the cross, watching Jesus be crucified. Like, they got to say something. They're like, that's bananas.
I don't remember that, but that's a good bit. Oh man.
So Brad is basically doing something way worse. In fairness, Brad may have done this work first. But,
it's just, it's so like, it's so overdone and overplayed. I feel like, I don't know. It's just like, really, he's going to spend time on this dumb joke that's like not that good. And now we have to listen to him riff about it for the next couple paragraphs. I don't know. I'm not pleased with this one, Brad.
Yeah. And this is what that was his opener for a chapter. Like, this is a widely published book. And he needed to come up with something for one out of, I don't know. I feel like you have better bets than that. Whatever.
Yeah.
I believe one of the great things about my faith is it tells me to work things out with fear and trembling. In other words, I have the freedom to examine my life, to make choices that may seem appropriate now, although I may not find them appropriate in the future, and vice versa. For instance, first, he says, one of the great things is we're told to work things out with fear and trembling. In other words, I have freedom to examine my life and make choices. I don't see how those two things follow. Like, work things out with fear and trembling doesn't feel like freedom to make your own choices and let things work out, does it?
It kind of just doesn't mean anything. It's just kind of like, it's just another way of saying, what would Jesus do? Right? Like,
it feels to me like you're walking on eggshells around God, basically. Like,
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's just
But
walking with fear and trembling is like a crazy ass sentence. Like, we're kind of used to it because we're both former Christians. But if you think about it, you just heard that for the first time. Like, what do you mean you're walking with fear and trembling? What are you scared of? Who
yeah.
hurt you? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's not
Well, and Paul says, work out my salvation with fear and trembling. So it's like, it sounds like Paul's conveying that you're like basically terrified about the idea that you're getting things wrong in terms of
yeah.
salvation. I just find that a weird thing. At most, it's a non sequitur to the idea of feeling freedom to live out your life, and it seems a little bit contradictory. But whatever.
Yeah, I'm not about it. I don't
Yeah.
care for it. But, it's whatever.
For instance, I once was hired to act in a student film that called for my character to use an obscene word.
Mm.
Um, I would just like
So,
to real quick.
yeah.
I'm just flipping back a little earlier in the book.
Are you trying to find where he said "God damn" or something?
Okay, here, and I'm going to just read this straight out of the previous chapter.
Okay, all right.
Of course, most of you reading this book would not consider yourself in the category of immature. So all I have to say to you is hell, damn, ass, and piss.
Ah, okay. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. He did say those things. So I guess those are still okay.
Yeah.
Um,
So in the previous one, he's basically shouting out what might be considered swear words, like maybe junior swear words or whatever, but still to make the point that Christians are too wound up about language. Very next chapter, he goes, I was hired to do a movie, but then they wanted me to say a bad word. Like, okay. Then this is the same problem he always has. He's just kind of all over the place and he can't even get his messaging straight.
yeah, I don't know. It's just it's all very arbitrary. Like, I don't know what society considers like really bad versus like only okay bad. So I'm sure he'll come up with some bullshit and just say, "Oh, I actually, I'm gonna hold my tongue. I'll see what he has to say about it
Yeah.
because I'm sure he'll be like, it's okay if you're acting or something. I don't know.
Well, whatever the specific word, and maybe he's talking about a different word here than he was before. It still is just a weird switch to go from, hey, lighten up about language, guys. Here's a string of words, blah, 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 to now like fussing over whether you're going to say a swear word in a movie because you're a Christian, but whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm saying, but whatever a lot tonight. Whatever. But listen to it. Listen to his reasoning now. As I pondered the scenario, I reasoned I was playing the role of another person, one who was very different than me. So
Okay.
technically, it's another person saying it.
That's when I realized other people had feelings and emotions. And that was the day I discovered empathy.
I think he managed to skirt that one, but we'll find. We'll see as the book progresses. Well, no, he did discover empathy for Amy Grant at one point.
Right, that's true.
Empathy is like when you have a heart on, right?
Right. Empathy is when you really, really, really want to tell someone it's going to be okay, and you write a speech about them and get in front of people. Yeah.
And you go to bed every night fantasizing about having pancakes.
Right. Eating pancakes and drinking Dr. Pepper at the golf course or whatever.
All right, so he's playing a different person. In his world, this type of language is common. I figured if the only way we can take a role is if the character has a similar worldview, I would rarely have the opportunity to be in films. Also, aren't we able to watch Christian shows in which the character of Jesus is played by an actor who isn't a Christian? Plus, by this logic, that says that Christians shouldn't play roles with unchristian behavior, Christians shouldn't be allowed to play the role of Satan! Exclamation point. The next,
I guess so. I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe.
Okay,
This
next.
shit, I just don't worry about this kind of thing. Like, even
Yeah.
as a Christian, I didn't really care about this kind of stuff too much. I feel like because, like, I don't know, who cares? What I wasn't gonna be a Christian actor. I didn't have to worry about this kind of thing. I don't know. There's a very specific set of problems, Brad.
This is a hard part to read through and talk about because I feel like he's trying to engage with some kind of point and is just spinning his wheels more than usual. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think you're right.
Next, we have a one sentence paragraph because he just said Christians shouldn't be allowed to play the role of Satan. The ultimate anti-Christian exclamation point. I don't know. This just feels like it feels like he sat down and did think about this. Like he really, really wanted to get an acting job, even though it wasn't a student film, which I think is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But he's just trying to rationalize his way through swearing. I decided to take the role, but interestingly enough, when I just arrived to shoot it, I began to feel less comfortable with saying the foul word, since I spent my comedy career proving you could be edgy and provocative without curse words. You can be edgy and provocative without curse words, yet you open up a word with nipples and blurt out piss and shit.
Yeah, it's like, who did you impress, Brad? I don't know. Like, oh man, Brad Stine. Yeah, I know him. He's the guy that's super edgy and cool, but doesn't use any curse words. Has anybody ever had that thought? Like, I don't know. Who are you
Kip Davis
proving
said,
this to?
sometimes one sentence paragraphs are effective, and I'm definitely not saying they aren't. You know, as Brad Stine demonstrates over and over again, it's all in the execution.
Right. It's true.
So I began to talk to the director about possible options in the dialogue that could make the character more interesting. He listened and allowed us to shoot 2 takes with and without the offensive word. I don't know which he ultimately used, but I do know the answer I was seeking was slowly revealed to me.
Okay.
That'd
be way more convenient if it was revealed before you had to do the take, but I guess you had to do the take to figure it out. So, all right.
Yeah.
It's almost as if Christianity is unclear on many things. Like this is like, I feel like this has been a theme for like every other chapter where it's just been like, oh, here's a weird controversial thing that isn't set in stone in Christianity. Anyway, here's my opinion on it. And it's always like the most centrist fucking take possible, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Jake Kelsey brought up what I was just about to say. So he didn't even watch the final product. Like he hasn't seen this movie, apparently. Okay.
That's
you were in a
weird.
movie and didn't watch it. All right.
He was too busy, you know, living that
Yeah.
Christian comedian life. He doesn't have time to watch every single thing he's in. You know,
he has to go to Promise Keepers and sign hundreds of autographs.
Yeah, he's got to write his next speech for Amy Grant.
God. It wasn't so much the word anymore as the whole picture. Did I believe in and agree with the story of this film? As I began to examine it, I realized I did not. As a result, I knew my decisions when considering a role in film in the future would be based on whether the film would leave the audience and consequently my culture with a positive, meaningful message I could believe in. In other words, I could judge the movie on context rather than content. Sound familiar?
Wow. Yeah.
Almost like a practice what you preach scenario, exclamation point. Also, being around fellow actors who were non-believers was an important opportunity for me to be a witness and, by being good at my craft without compromising the real Brad, I was a wit.
Oh, Brad, honey, please don't compromise, okay? We want to see the real Brad. All right.
Reading this book is like witnessing a stream of, like, just a series of stream of consciousness compromises, isn't it? Like he just wanders all over the place. Sometimes everyone's too touchy. Now he's being a total snowflake about every little thing about what he does in a movie. Sometimes Christians need to swear more. Sometimes you don't want to say a potty word in a movie. Like, and it always has this feel of rationalization when he's through the whole thing. It's just kind of whatever.
Very, very, very Brad so far.
Okay. This was the moment in my walk where I reached a conclusion about my faith I believe was God ordained. Good. We're attributing God to your thoughts. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I was allowed to do it wrong in order to discover what was right. Sometimes we judge others on where they are now when they may very well be in the middle of a journey leading them somewhere else. I thank God my religion allows me the grace to grow. Many times I will make mistakes, but as long as my heart desires to follow exactly where God wants me, I will find the truth, and the truth will set me free.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you found the truth in whether or not you could say the word fuck in a movie. You know, it's really great.
I like to think it was like poo or something,
Yeah.
but this is like a weirdly, just a very weirdly permissive stance to take. Like, as long as my heart desires to follow exactly where God wants me, I will find the truth, and the truth will set me free. So basically, he's saying if you just wander through life with good intentions, you're going to find your way to the right thing, and that does not feel like a very.
How far is Brad willing to take this? So, like, what if Brad had to play the role of like a rapist in a movie? Is that going to bother him more than saying the word shit or whatever? Like, what's the, what's the end game here? What can't he do at this point? Well, I'm still after God, and oh, I'm playing the rapist, and he's the bad guy. So, and then I don't know. That's something he would say probably.
I guess so,
Mm.
but it just feels out of line with, like, what's the relevance of Christianity then, or what's the point in having commands in the Bible and holding people to them if you're just, as long as you just wander free and do what you think is right, you'll get there.
Right. Oh,
It almost
you're getting paid to say fuck. Oh, I guess that's okay. Right? If you do it for free, it's a sin. I think that's what it is.
Hollyhock put it perfectly. I think this really sums this book up. I feel like this book is a compilation of shower arguments Brad thinks he's winning.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's true.
God
Yeah,
doesn't allow.
if the
Sorry, go ahead.
paycheck is right, the sin's okay. That's the lesson I'm getting from this. Anyway.
Ooh, David has a good point. Brad's logic doesn't make sense. If he believes himself earnest and comes to a conclusion about what is right, doesn't that mean that someone who comes to a different conclusion is a liar?
Yeah, basically. You have to agree with Brad. Brad's right about everything.
This whole book is just this weird combination of, like, reactionary conservatism and just, like, I don't know, weird, like, mushy permissiveness.
Yeah, just like his personal opinion,
Mhm.
basically.
God doesn't allow difficult things to happen to you. Wait, God doesn't allow difficult things to happen to you to toy with you. Next to that, I just wrote the word Job.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, they did a whole thing about that, but all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't allow it to tempt you or trap you. He does it to train you! Exclamation point. Sorry, he read
Okay.
that in all caps. Through my experience in the acting, though my experience in the acting field has been nominal, there are Christians who have taken it to a higher level. Those who are committed to acting without compromising their beliefs. Yeah, I would call his acting experience nominal.
Yeah. Um, that's definitely a way to put it for sure, especially at the time of writing of this book. I guess he's done, to be fair, he's done more since then, but yeah, so I'm still not entirely clear here on what the answer is. It's just kind of follow your heart. I think it's literally just follow your heart on
Yeah,
this
that's
one.
that's what's kind of weird. Is this feels like the very thing? It almost feels like all roads get to heaven or whatever. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I got to look something up real quick. He was
Okay.
in. Oh, what is it? He was in a Christmas movie recently, and it's not Christmas with a capital C. It's a different one, and it's like just the weirdest thing. Shit, now I'm not finding it. Oh, he's in a movie called Jingle Smells.
What the wait? Maybe that's the one that he had to say the curse word in, because he had to say like
Th-
poopy in
This
it.
is this is a 2003 movie. Jingle Smells, a a
Oh,
Christmas movie starring along with Brad Stine.
he's starring in it.
Well, he's in it. It has Eric Roberts.
Put that shit on screen. You got IMDb up?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see what's up.
All right. There's Jingle
There we go.
Smells.
Nice. Wait, is that an ad or is that the trailer?
I think that's a trailer.
Oh, sick.
Maybe we'll YouTube the trailer after we're done with the book. But it has Jim Brewer, of course.
Jim Brewer, okay. Who else we got? I don't recognize anybody else.
I thought Sean Hannity was in it. But maybe not. Anyway. Oh, God Awful Movie did a review of Jingle Smells. That's awesome. I gotta watch. I gotta listen to that. Name a movie that doesn't have Eric Roberts. You can't. They don't exist. Anyway, I remember working a church in Las Vegas once. In parentheses, a church in Vegas sounds as foreign as a casino in Branson! Exclamation point. Okay.
It's really good. I guess there's no Christians in Vegas, according to Brad Stine. Yeah. Wow.
I remember working at church in Las Vegas. Wait, I just read that. I was performing a concert with a former group For Him, number 4, and then Him. Okay. Made up of great guys I always enjoyed hanging out with. In the green room, I noticed the guys talking to a man who looked somewhat familiar to me. I asked him if we had met, and he politely said he didn't think so. The For Him guys started going on and on about how he was some well-known actor who was in a ton of movies. I rarely go to movies, so he didn't look familiar to me. I figured they were just messing with me, so I let it go. That night, Jim, in parentheses, the alleged actor, and his wife watched my set and the For Him concert. Afterward, I saw him in the casino and he waved me over to talk. He was most gracious and told me how much he loved my show. Wanting to reciprocate, I told him I was sorry for not recognizing him. He and I talked about our art and about our faith. And his name was Albert Einstein.
Yeah. And his name was John Cena. That'd be awesome.
You see, Jim was a professional actor, but he was also a follower of Jesus. Here was a man who had a morals clause in his contract. He refused to do nude scenes as well as certain other actions that would compromise his faith and his marital relationship. Hollywood is none too keen on actors who set their own personal standards on a movie set, but this was not a place of compromise for Jim. I love this observation. Hollywood is none too keen on actors who set their own personal standards. It's like, yeah, you're just hard to work with.
Yeah. Does he think that there's no other there's like every non-Christian actor is like, yeah, okay, I'll do the sex scene. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of people that aren't comfortable with that kind of thing.
Yeah, like, also just understand that movies are about a lot of different things. And if some of them bother you, then that's just not a movie for you. Like, and the more, I think a lot of this is what kind of standards we're talking about. If you're not going to do anything like racist or overtly offensive to people or just super insensitive, that's a pretty obvious line, I think, just based on human decency. If you're going to go in with this huge list of demands based on your religion and your personal theology and stuff, that's kind of a you problem.
Yeah. Also, maybe nobody wants to see Jim naked. Maybe he's just not that kind of guy, you know? Maybe nobody asked. And he's just like, yeah, I don't do it this way, you know?
Also, I'm curious how many people in the chat don't know who Jim is yet. We'll find out. He chose roles he felt either represented a character he believed in or a movie whose theme represented something he could stand behind. Trying to be kind, I asked him if there were any movies coming out I could see him in. He told me there was one coming out soon called The Count of Monte Cristo. This is where I decided to look as stupid as I could in front of Jim. I'm sure Brad's up to the task.
Right, yeah.
I asked him who was the lead of the film. He simply told me, without a hint of ego and almost apologetically, the lead in the film was ... him.
Wow. Wow.
Here
So
we were,
cool.
two artists in different fields, one fairly famous at the time, and me, a relative nobody. Yet we both respected each other's gift and place at the table in the entertainment.
Oh, he never fucking changed, Brad. Of course he's got to make it about himself. That's so awesome. Yeah, this guy was really cool, and he was the lead in this upcoming movie, but he still respected me in my craft. I told him I rarely saw any movies.
Not sure you're great at reading the room there, Brad.
Yeah. This is the only correct answer, by the way.
Jim Einstein.
Jim Einstein.
When I was first reading this, like the first time I saw Jim, I'm like, okay, I know exactly who he's talking about and what he's going with this. But yeah, I love that. I didn't even catch that the first time. We respected each other's gift and place at the table in the entertainment industry. He's like,
yeah, he doesn't actually say like at all how the other guy like, you know, respected his gift or anything. We just have to believe him when he says that.
Brad asked Jim how much he loved his set, and he opened his arms and died. Yeah, this feels very much like, A-list Hollywood actor who has a starring role in this upcoming film came up to me, and we just chatted because we're both dudes in the biz. We're both, like
I was talking to him in the green room, yeah. Totally.
I haven't happened to have been discovered quite to the extent he has yet, but all right. Little did either of us realize that in only a couple years, Jim would have the privilege of playing a character he would completely pour his heart and soul into. Literally. Not sure you understand the word literally there, Brad.
Yeah.
We were both Christians, and very soon I, along with millions of other people, had the privilege of watching Jim play the person who is the essence of both our lives. This wonderful brother took his God-given gift to portray Jesus to the world.
Yeah.
You see, this actor's name was Jim Caviezel.
Oh my God. Whoa.
And he
You guys remember Passion of the Christ? Yeah, I met Christ in that movie.
And he respects my craft as I do his.
My craft. Yeah.
And he portrayed Jesus in The Passion of the Christ, directed by Mel Gibson. Yeah, so
very cool.
Yeah, time jumper. Yep, the QAnon guy, exactly.
Another chapter of Brad bragging about his life. This is about the time I met a famous person.
Well, and he's kindred spirits with Mel Gibson too, because people get on Brad's case about how he talks about little people and the words he uses to call them. People get on Mel Gibson's case for the way he talks about Jews and the words he uses to describe
right?
himself.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the same, right?
Yeah. Does Hollyhock's asking, does Amy Grant respect Brad's craft? That's a good question. I'd like to know the answer to that. Oh man.
If simping is a craft, she probably at least has to academically understand what he's doing.
I'm looking at Jim Caviezel's IMDb now, and Passion of the Christ is the high. No, that's not true. I forgot he was in the Thin Red Line. That movie's pretty good. I was like, I think Passion of the Christ is the highest rated movie he's been in, but Thin Red Line is rated higher.
I mean, he's a weird douche, but the fact is he's a good actor, and he's been in a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. I love the next. You see, this actor's name was Jim Caviezel, played in The Passion of the Christ, directed by Mel Gibson, a controversial Christian movie that is the most widely watched and largest grossing religious film in history.
Yeah.
I'm just really curious, like, why he put Christian in parentheses. Like, was the Passion of the Christ ambiguous in its religious bent, or I don't know.
Well, there was a lot of Christians that didn't like it at the time. I guess still do, you know.
There's a lot of Christians that don't like him. I mean, he carries on about that constantly, but he still calls himself a Christian comedian. So I mean,
Yeah, that's true. You know, I mean, it is somewhat controversial, I guess.
yeah,
You know, portraying Jesus and all that.
having the devil be Barack Obama.
Right. Well, that came later, but yes.
Had Jim not committed himself to being the best he could be in the acting profession, he never would have been considered for that role. Arguable. I
Yeah.
also believe God honored his integrity and prepared him not only as an actor, but as a sincere Catholic believer. Once again, we are brought back to the truth that God has a plan for Jim's life. A plan I am sure some Christians found inappropriate because of some movies he was in before the Passion. What I am also completely sure of is this man is going to be around a long time in the acting profession. He will receive accolades for his skill and rewards for his commitment. He will also lay them all down someday at the feet of the one who has entrusted him with his talent. I don't think this is aged well in light of Sound of Freedom.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm sure Brad still likes him just as much today as he did then.
Brad likes him
So,
even more, I'm sure.
yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I just mean in terms of the part where he says he's going to be around making movies forever, basically, and he's never going. His reputation will never be tarnished.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's not a great look, but I love this thing where like Brad is just prophesying over this man's life, just like telling him how it's gonna be, you know, like he
Yeah,
gets to do that. It's very weird, um, how authoritative he is. He did the kind of the same thing with Amy Grant, being like, "Oh, look how awesome she is, and how she's using her passions for the Lord and doing X, Y, and Z." And it's just like, all right, man, chill. Like, you don't really know. You met him like once, or you talked to him for a few days. I don't know.
the only reason I love just the part about the only reason he was able to play Jesus is because he poured himself into his craft and honed it over all these years. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he did a good job, but
Yeah.
he was picked because he was a Catholic and he wanted a good,
It would be awesome if Brad was like, yeah, and he's done all these great things for the Lord. Too bad he's a damn dirty Catholic and will not be seeing the light of heaven at the end of his life.
Well, to be fair, he's already been clear about the don't shit on Catholics thing. That was like in the first
Right.
chapter, I think. But
Yeah.
yeah, Doc Don Hogg said top grossing R-rated movie of that year, wasn't it? I think at the time anyway, it was the highest rating R-rated movie ever, I believe. Highest gross. Drew Harrison says, I was at a party when Passion of the Christ was in theaters. A weird Christian lady asked me if I had seen it. I said, I don't want to see torture porn. She immediately said, why do you hate Jesus?
I love that. What do you mean?
Yeah, but I remember when it came out, I went with a bunch of people from my church to see it in the theaters. And there was this lady in front of us. It's just one of those, one of those church ladies. The whole time she's like, oh, yeah. And then after the movie's over and it fades after he gets up from the tomb or whatever, she's like, how can anybody watch that movie and not be a Christian?
Oh, man.
Even back then, I'm like, lady, you were so annoying.
I'm glad I was too young to fully know about the cultural zeitgeist around that movie. You know,
Oh,
I
that
kinda
was
picked it up
huge.
afterwards.
Everybody's like, yeah, they're finally, Hollywood's coming around and they're making Christian movies now. And
Yeah. Yeah, that really worked out, huh? How many
yeah,
Christian movies has there been since then? Mainstream. I guess God's Not Dead.
it's almost like it wasn't about breaking through a glass ceiling and people just don't want to watch instructional religious movies, like, or
Yeah.
didactic trash, as you put it.
Yeah, I guess like that's I guess if you had to do a Bible story, like the death of Jesus is probably the most dramatic one you could do, right? Probably would make the most cinematic sense. I can't imagine. Well, that's not true. Prince of Egypt is really good.
Yeah.
So, there is that. I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Prince of Egypt was along the same lines. That was the first one where Christians were like, yeah, we're finally getting a Christian. As if they hadn't made like a version of that same movie that wasn't a huge blockbuster before in 10 Commandments. Like,
yeah. Kind of sucks that they call it a Christian movie when really we should see it as a Jewish movie, you know? But they don't really do that, do they?
No.
Anyway.
This is what is possible for those who are completely sold out to the living God. They will know their purpose and they will watch it come to fruition in their lives as well as see its effect on those around them who can't ignore their authentic walk. These are believers who are driven by the Holy Spirit's lead in their lives, not by the expectations of other Christians. It feels like a dangerous path to walk down for a Christian. Like, I'm being led by my own, basically by where my heart takes me. I think you can use that and the Holy Spirit interchangeably.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I feel like he's at least going too hard on one side of what should be a gray area where the Christian community is there and, religious instruction is there for a reason. And I think a lot of Christians, rightfully so, would take this as, well, you want to ignore all that and basically ignore the Bible and just follow your heart and think you're going to get to the right place. Maybe I'm too hung up on that, but it's a weird, really weird thing for an evangelical Christian to be saying.
Yeah, I feel like he's not the first person to say that because like there is no good answer to this question if you're a Christian, right? So you just have to rely on pseudo magical bullshit. But you don't want to say that, so you just have to be like, oh, let the Holy Spirit guide you in your decisions or whatever. So, it's just kind of the same version of that.
Yeah, it feels almost a little Pentecostal. Maybe that's just my background coming into it, but these are the ones whose insistence on being true to their faith also means being true to their mission field. Jim Caviezel's mission field is Hollywood, and guess what? He got so good they couldn't ignore him. Oh, fuck you.
His mission field. Yeah, some of you will need to go to Uganda and build water pumps for people. And Jim gets to work in Hollywood. That's his mission field. Like, okay.
Let's see.
Guess what Brad thinks his mission field is? Stand up, baby, on that stand-up stage. Converting people to Christ.
I just love too. He got so good they couldn't ignore him. Like Hollywood wants nothing to do with any Christian actors.
As if nobody else could do the role.
Jim Caviezel blew their minds so hard they just were forced to let a Christian act in Hollywood. Finally,
if we can't get Jim Caviezel for this, we're not making the movie. That's it. He's got to be it. I'm sure. Yeah, we can't have Mel Gibson. We're not going to let him make the movie unless we get this one actor. I'm sure that's how that went down.
All right. Before I read this last sentence.
Okay.
There's one sentence left in here. I'm actually just going to type it into the chat and put it up on screen.
Type it into the chat? Okay. All right. I'm a little scared. A little nervous.
It's nothing to be nervous about. It's just bizarre. All right. This is the last sentence of this chapter.
Blessings. What? Blessings on you, brother. Is that what it's supposed to be? Blessings on you, bro. I thought it said blessing Sonia.
That's what it looks like.
Blessing Sonia, brother. What the fuck is that?
He was so good that Hollywood couldn't ignore him. Blessings on you, brother. Blessings on you.
What the fuck kind of blessings on you, brother? You're not that guy, Brad. Shut the fuck up. Who do you think you are? Brad's acting like he served in the military with Jim.
Yeah,
me and Jim. Yeah,
he's wishing well to one of his bros.
Yeah, wishing well to one of his comrade in arms.
Yeah, I mean,
we were flying F-15s like in Top Dog together. We both flew them onto the carrier. I was with him. That was great.
We
blessings on you, brother.
we saw each other in the green room. We looked each other in the eye. We recognized each other as kindred
saw-
spirits.
We saw each other in the green room. We looked each other in the eye. We gave each other a long and tender kiss. And it was a night that neither of us will ever forget. You know, and I think he used that passion in Passion of the Christ. I really think that's what gave him the motivation.
We didn't go full pancake breakfast. I'm saving that for Amy Grant, but we made out a little.
We didn't go full pancake breakfast. That's a good one. I like that.
I didn't proclaim my thinly veiled love for him on stage. Speech.
Man.
So that was chapter 7, I think. Yeah, Assume Truth 7. And I feel like not only was that chapter short, it was a very empty short 4 pages, wasn't it? Like that felt like there was very little there.
Yeah, that was another humble brag of Brad, just talking about the time he met a Hollywood actor, I think. So, and then turning that into some sort of parable, very unclear lesson on whether or not you should do the thing that he's talking about.
Well, what I think is funny also is this: he wrote 11 assumed truths. Like, he didn't need 10 is a nice round number. You didn't need to like spread yourself thin for 4 pages of nothing to get to number 11. It was just a really weird choice on every level. I feel like he could have just skipped that one and everything would have been fine. But that's just me. I'm not the author. Brad is.
I feel like I don't know. I don't know how publishing deals work. I've never written a book, but I imagine they're like, okay, you have to have so many chapters, right? And like an X page count. And I'm wondering if like he had to stick one in there to fill a count or something. I don't know. That's what it feels like. It's just weirdly short. Doesn't really do much. Half of that chapter was just him talking about how awesome Jim was, and then a quarter of it was him deliberating on potty words, and then I don't know, the other quarter was just him rambling about bullshit.
Yeah, like I felt like he was padding this one more than he was padding his longer chapters. It was just, why did you even do that one? Whatever. So anyway, you want to do a love dare?
Oh yeah, I'm down for the love dare for a little palate cleanser. How do we rate that chapter in terms of the Brad Stine canon?
Here, I got to get it for a second. Why don't you chat with the audience about that?
I'll do that. Shout outs to Birdie. Birdie's in the chat saying they finally made a live show. Good for you. There we go. Putting that on screen. Love that. Yeah, in terms of like we started hitting a couple peaks last few chapters ago, and then this one like still like there's still some laughs in there. Definitely not the best one, but you never know with Brad. So it was okay. Too short though. Too short. Next one is apparently 20 pages long. So I'm looking forward to that and seeing what we do there. Doc Don Hott's giving it a negative 100 out of 10. I think that's appropriate. We should see a trailer of that Christmas movie. Actually, I'm gonna look that up while Brad's I said Brad's in the bathroom. I meant Zod in the bathroom. What was it called again? Jingle Smells, right? That was what ridiculous. Oh my god, this thumbnail is crazy. Okay, I'm going to IMDb here. Okay, that is the trailer. All right, let me put this on screen. Let's take a look. There we go. All right, I'm going to get full screen, turn audio on.
It's very hard to find a place that even comes close to being worthy of.
Okay, so first off,
we're watching.
First off,
we're watching Jingle Smells.
I wasn't in the bathroom. I was doing something else.
Oh, okay.
And second, You take that back. I am not Brad Stine.
I didn't mean to say Brad. I didn't mean to call you Brad. I had Brad on the brain. Okay, he's just infected me. You want to watch this trailer of Jingle Smells real quick?
No, I want to be mad at you for calling me Brad.
Oh, well, that's your problem, I guess. I'm gonna keep watching this trailer.
all
You know,
of
it's
you
very
in the chat telling on me. Don't worry. I can hear him the whole time. I have an earbud in. All right.
Oh my
Watch
god!
this now
Oh,
while I
it's just-
stew.
All right, I'll let you stew on it while I watch this.
hard to find a place that even comes close to being worthy of your beauty.
It's romantic.
It's about you and me alone.
Wow, look at the two of you.
Merry Christmas, America. Hollywood has canceled
Sean Hannity,
Mason
isn't it?
Stone.
Stone will be digitally replaced by AI. Boycott Stone!
We will no longer be manufacturing Mason Stone characters.
Get them all out of here by Christmas Eve.
You gotta be kidding me.
How'd you get it? Oh, fell off the truck.
There was a truck involved.
The mysterious gift giver has struck again.
If you get busted with those toys, you're done. And you made me an accessory.
Well, you know what they say. Some accessories are required.
Am I smiling? No.
Jingle smells, stinking all the way.
They called me Jingle Bells.
Yeah, I know.
Wow, holy shit, that's really bad. God damn.
That sucks.
That is
ass.
terrible.
Holy
Mason
cow.
Stone. Canceled has
I
Mason
think
Stone.
Brad's
did
there for 2
replace-
seconds.
No longer be manufacturing Mason Stone characters.
Get them all out of
Is that supposed to be? No, that's not Brad.
That's Brad.
Is that him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is.
here by Christmas Eve.
I was gonna say
You got it.
I was gonna say he wasn't even in the preview for this shitty movie. He's a garbage man.
Yeah,
Oh.
I thought that was him. Wow. A garbage man
Okay.
for a garbage fucking movie. Holy shit. Jingle Smells. Wow.
That
What a premiering on fucking Rumble. Get your man, doesn't that make you want to buy a fucking Rumble subscription? God damn. Wow. That's terrible. That's really fucking bad. Damn.
I was visualizing something just incredibly generically stupid, and this was worse. That was and then when the logo comes up like jingle smells,
Yeah.
jingles.
That's the thing. That's the thing that that's basically Gen Alpha kids are doing for sure. Yeah.
Then he
wow.
says, ha ha ha, of course he's a garbage man. I believe the correct term is garbage person.
Oh man. On fucking Rumble too. That's the best part about that. Wow. That's great. Okay, well, I guess let's do some more book reading. let's
Brad went to acting school to be in that movie.
yeah. That's what it was all for. Yeah, with fucking Sean Hannity too. God damn. Oh. That's a tax write-off right there, huh? What a
They
what a
canceled
film.
Batwoman and they couldn't cancel this.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
Batgirl or whatever. All right. Let's do Love Dare number 10. Hey, this will be a quarter of the way through the book already after this one. Right? We're making some headway here.
Okay, all right. So yeah, that's what 50 days they're doing, and we're on.
It's 40.
Oh, it's 40. Okay, all right.
Day 10. Love is unconditional. By the way, if you haven't seen one of these before, this is a Love Dare. It's based on that movie Fireproof. And basically the whole idea is if your marriage is struggling and you're a Christian and you want advice that's like totally unqualified and not from anybody who's has clinical qualifications, this book will gives you a task every day. So it's 40 days where the Love Dare is to do a certain thing for your spouse. That thing can range from doing one nice gesture to not saying something mean all day.
To asking about how your wife's day was.
Yeah.
So, so
So
in
that's-
case you
that's
weren't
what-
doing that already.
And it's very heavily, it's technically for men and women to, practice toward their husband or wife, but it's very, very heavily man coded. So
Oh yeah.
that's what the Love Dare is. Because every once in a while there's someone who's lost and don't know what we're jumping into here. All right, day 10. Love is unconditional. God demonstrates his own love toward us that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5:8. I bet you didn't know that was from the Bible, did you?
Wow, that from the Bible? I thought that was from the Book of Mormon. Crazy.
Yeah, it's all the same thing.
Mhm.
If someone were to ask you, why do you love your wife? Or why do you love your husband? What would you say? Most men would mention their wife's beauty, her sense of humor, her kindness, her inner strength. They might talk about her cooking, her knack for decorating, or what a good mother she is. And you can tell also by reading this that he fancies himself like a poet or a wordsmith in just the most amateur way possible.
Yeah.
He sounds like a freshman writing their first creative story for a creative writing class or something.
It really does sound like that.
Women would probably say something about their husband's good looks or his personality. Yeah, maybe. They'd commend him for his steadiness and consistent character. They'd say they love him because he's always been there for him. He's generous. He's helpful. He has a big D. I added one of those in. Guess which one?
That's awesome.
But what if over the course of years, your wife or husband stopped being every one of those things? Would you still love them? Based on your answers above, the only logical response would be no. I feel like that's overly literal. Like, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know, but people are complicated. It's like if they change in one trait, does that mean you won't love them anymore? What about 2 traits? How about 3 traits? It's just like I don't know. It's probably not something you can answer in one little tiny chapter in a book like this. But I am very curious as to where this chapter is going. I'll be honest.
The weirdo currently known as Evan said spouse of Theseus.
Theseus,
That's kind of true though. Like,
yeah,
in my current marriage, we've only been married 10 years, but that a lot happens in that amount of time and people change a lot, largely for the better, hopefully.
Yeah.
But it's weird because what you love about somebody or just the idea of loving someone it can mean different things. And when someone calls upon you to say, what do you love about them? It basically demands you to describe something and what you like about them, right? Like if you just like say, I don't know, I love them unconditionally. Number one, that doesn't answer their question. Number two, your spouse probably wouldn't like that. Like, oh, you can't even think of anything. So
yeah.
to take that as, well, you only love them because of something they do for you and you won't love them if they stop being that way. That just seems like a dumb and unnecessary thing to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm conflicted on this one because like this is like a very complex grounds here, and I don't think that this book has the ganache. I don't think it has the weight that it thinks it's carrying right now to really cover this topic. So I'm expecting to see some real truth bombs here, so a real wrecking ball of a perspective that's just going to blow me away and give me all the answers here. So
wait, are you suggesting that this book simplifies? Sounds like you're suggesting this book simplifies.
No, this book is philosophy for the modern man, honestly. I don't think you need to read anything else. I think this is the beginning and ending to all of your love needs for sure.
If your reasons for loving your spouse all have something to do with his or her qualities, and then those same qualities suddenly or gradually disappear, your basis for love is over.
Yes, I guess that's true. If my wife became a Nazi tomorrow, I'm probably going to love her a little less, right? Like I just saying.
That's cancel culture for you.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably true, right? You love people for who they are, and if they're different, then that makes them harder to love.
Well, I think you're showing that I mean, there are some really obvious situations, like what if they became a serial killer or something like that? Yeah, there are things like that. But he's implying that, I mean, there's a logic to what he's saying if you interpret it in a just totally obtuse way. Well, you like them for these reasons. As soon as those disappear, your love for them can never evolve, or you can never like them for the changing person they are. If you like them for those reasons, and once those go away, then you don't love them anymore. A plus B equals C, or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. People change over time. It's true, but like, I hope I'm at a point right now where like I'm not going to be radically different now than I am like 10 years from now. You know, like I feel like as you get older as an adult, you just kind of settle into your personality, and that's like a good thing, broadly speaking. So I don't know. This is one of those ones where I'm just gonna, I don't know, shrug my shoulders at it and just say, I guess.
Yeah, this is like, I feel like we said that before, and I think that applies here. This book's a little bit like Deepity. Like what it's saying is kind of has some surface level truth to it, but it's not insightful enough to be of any use. Like to whatever extent it's true, it's just such an obvious generality, it doesn't matter. And then to whatever extent you try to go further than that, it just doesn't mean anything at all.
Yeah, here's Mad Moocat's observation, which is pretty sure he's trying to say you can't divorce your wife because she got old and doesn't look 25 anymore, which I think that's probably, they did start with the looks. First of all, they started with the looks for the guy and the girl, which is interesting. Don't know how I feel about that, but like, yeah, I guess if you're saying, oh, I like my wife because she's physically attractive, and that's like the first thing you say, that is kind of a weird thing to say, I feel like, but I don't know.
Yeah, if that's what a lot hinges on, then yeah, that's not going to last. And also, you have a rough ride ahead of you if that's what you're pinning your hopes on liking somebody about. The only way love can last a lifetime is if it's unconditional. The truth is this. The truth is this. Love is not determined by the one being loved, but rather by the one choosing love. The Bible refers to this kind of love by using the Greek word agape, pronounced agape. Okay. Like, do you think there's a Christian in the world who doesn't know what the word agape is?
Yes. There's definitely Christians that don't know agape. For sure.
Maybe it's just the circle I grew up in. That was like,
I know I went to youth group too, right? But like, you know, not every Christian did. I feel like that could be a little more obscure for.
Yeah, maybe it's growing up in my specific evangelical circle where I was like in Christian school the whole time and stuff. That probably had something to do with it.
Yeah. I only ever hear it in a Christian context, even though, you know, it is technically like a Greek word, right? But
yeah. It differs from the other types of love, which are phileo, friendship, and eros, sexual love.
Right.
Both friendship and sex have an important place in marriage, of course, and are definitely part of the house you build together as husband and wife. Let's not start adding to our home building metaphors. We already did the 2 rooms thing. I don't want to complicate this any further.
Let's not go back to the rooms.
Drew Harrison said, I think agape is a porn category.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be awesome if there was like a Christian porn site and one of the categories was, you got eros and you got agape.
I'm not sure that's what Drew is getting at, but let's let that go. Sorry. But if your marriage totally depends on having common interests or enjoying a healthy sex life, then the foundation of your relationship is unstable. So basically, if you're Brad Stine and you think sex is the one and only reward for being married, then that's going to be a rough ride.
Well, they said common interests and sex. Why do they do both of those things? That's kind of weird. I feel like you could have a marriage last based on common interests and maybe also sex.
Well, it says if it totally depends on it.
Yeah.
So if you,
I don't know, maybe.
Depends
on how seriously you take the marriage, you know?
Yeah. Oh, Kip Davis, he's here with some actual knowledge. He says this stuff about Greek words for love is such bullshit. Both agape and phileo, I don't know, phileo are essentially interchangeable. I'm probably like making his eye twitch the way I pronounce those words.
I was taught like the fire metaphor, where it was like, oh, you've got the big burning fire. That's like Eros or whatever, or agape. I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh,
And then
okay.
there's like the little embers. I don't know.
It was starting to sound like an analogy for the Trinity for a second there.
Oh, yeah, I guess it could be. Anything could be an analogy for the Trinity, really.
Philos and Eros are more responsive in nature and can fluctuate based on feelings. Agape love, on the other hand, is selfless and unconditional. So unless this kind of love forms the foundation of your marriage, the wear and tear of time will destroy it. Agape love is in sickness and health love, for richer or poorer love, for better or worse love. Thank you for really driving this home. I think we didn't understand until you rounded that out. Is the only kind of love that is true love. Again, he's just like beating an obvious fact to death. Like,
yeah,
cool. If people don't understand this already and it's not completely intuitive, then they're probably so lost that a book's not going to help them anyway. And
yeah, I feel like we say it every week, but it is true. Yeah, you should be in it for the long haul if you're gonna get married. Although it is surprising how many people, don't really fully internalize that. But hey,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, but if they haven't internalized it, I don't think the missing step is having somebody like over explain it like a kindergarten teacher. Like, some true love is not just what the person does for you, how pretty they are. It's
Listen,
that
you ever heard of agape? Let me tell you. Here, let me show you something. Oh, don't look at my search history though. I'm just showing you what this Wikipedia page says on it. I don't know.
That's because this is God's kind of love. So, I mean, I think this is probably obvious, but
this is God's kind of love, baby.
This is God's.
Let me give you some of that sweet, sweet agape. You know what I'm saying?
But like, it seems like the first page and a half here, he's basically demanding that you don't react to anybody any differently based on anything they do, right? It's totally unconditional. Yet God famously is never going to act toward us differently based on anything we do or don't do or anything, right? Like,
true. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. And again, like, it's like, yeah, you need to like, it's more like with a marriage, your love needs to be, you need to be flexible a little bit, right? Like you got to have some patience. You got to have some stuff, but like, you don't have to be that flexible. Like, again, there is rooms for, like, this book is like writing under the assumption that divorce isn't an option. So if your spouse is beating you or cheating on you or doing whatever, I guess that doesn't matter. You're in it for the long haul. It's sickness and health. Like, I'm not seeing any concessions for that. So I don't know. I'm just going to assume that's what they think.
he doesn't love us because we are lovable, but because he is so loving. The Bible says, and
that's sad.
And this, what?
That's very sad. He doesn't love us. He doesn't love you because you're lovable. You're not fucking lovable. Shut up.
Yeah.
Sit down. You're not worthy of God's love. You're only getting it because he's that awesome.
And because you said the prayer.
Right.
The Bible says, and this is love, not that we loved God, but that he loved us and sent his son to be the propitiation for our sins. God, I'm not talking well tonight. 1 John 4:10. If he insisted that we prove ourselves worthy of his love, we would fail miserably. But God's love is a choice he makes completely on his own. It's something we receive from him and then share with others. We love because he first loved us. 1 John
like Jim
4:19.
Caviezel showed us in the 2004 hit movie, The Passion of the Christ. Wow, crazy they put that in there. But
if we thought Brad was padding out a chapter, then this guy comes and really shows us how it's done.
Yeah, really. It's true.
If a man says to his wife, I have fallen out of love with you, he is actually saying, I never loved you unconditionally to begin with. He really just draws some neat black and white A to B conclusions.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Again, like, oh wow, you're cheating on me, and also you've been lying, and you're actually a Russian double agent. And your entire identity has been fabricated. Well, I'm not loving you anymore. Oh yeah, well that just means you didn't have unconditional love for me in the first
Yeah.
place. Oh, okay. Well, I guess.
Or we just both change as people over the years. Nothing even that dramatic happened. And all of a sudden you look yourself in the mirror and look at the other person and realize I don't know where I'm at right now or who we are anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's there's like a mathematical neatness to his conclusion. Like, well, if you fell out of love, number one, that can just mean different things for one thing. If like there has to be some meaning about what the other person means to you and how you emotionally react to them. Otherwise the relationship's just going to be kind of cold and clinical and meaningless. So even if you still like have the same kind of love that you do for any person and that basic regard for them, that it still means something, that whole thing fades away. And you could have started out with every intention of just loving them unconditionally, and then you just feel different, or things get different, or people change. Like it's just, I don't know. It's kind of just stupid on its face, but then it gets really ugly when you start applying it to people. And I've seen Christians do this. Like you just take these neat A, B, C, D conclusions and you come at people with accusations about what their intentions were all along. And it's totally uncalled for.
Yeah, I agree. It's turning up to 11 here. I don't know if I like it.
Yeah. Hollyhock says we haven't even established that humans love unconditionally to begin with. Like that's, yeah, there's like some nuance there anyway. I mean, every atheist is going to say, well, God doesn't love us unconditionally because, you know, you go to heaven or hell or whatever. And that's true. Like at the very least, that shows us that there's some kind of nuance. There's like some difference in reaction based on what people do is called for. So to just dive in and call for completely unconditional love without addressing any of that is just feels like it's pointless.
Yeah, that's just what it means to be in a cult. Like the only people that are loved unconditionally are cult leaders. I don't think like my love for my life, like I want my wife's love for me to be conditional. I don't want it to be unconditional because then it's not meaningful. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
I want it to be because I am the person that I am, not just because she has to. Like, that's just silly and sad.
Yeah, your wife doesn't hear doesn't want to hear I love you with the same love I feel for the person at the grocery store who checks out our groceries. Like,
right?
Yeah, that whatever.
Strange.
So I guess he hasn't finished shitting on people who fall out of love. He says his love was based on feelings or circumstances rather than commitment. That's the result of building a marriage on phileo or eros love. There must be a stronger foundation than mere friendship or sexual attraction. Unconditional love, agape love, will not be swayed by time or circumstance.
You know what, babe? I think our whole marriage was based on filial love, maybe even eros love. I don't think it was agape love. Can you imagine having that conversation? Wow.
It's just throwing this like completely shitty, useless, pseudo-therapeutic language into your marriage. And when you use these kinds of dumb terms to analyze and process your relationship in these dumb, clunky ways, it's going to be a disaster. I've seen it happen too. I mean, this is the language and the thought process that a lot of evangelicals use to deal with their marriages. And that's probably why this book exists to begin with, as far as that goes.
Damn, it's creating the whole industry right there.
Yeah, that's true. He's like creating the demand and the supposed whatever.
Yeah.
The problem and the solution all at once.
Right.
Yeah, I love how too. They says unconditional love, agape love, will not be swayed by time or circumstances. Like you can just lock your mind into a single. That's not to say though that love which began for the wrong reasons cannot be restored and redeemed. That's true, but doesn't that then invalidate everything you've said before? Like a love that started for the right reasons can drift off course and get corrupt.
That's a good point. That kind of just contradicts literally everything he just said, doesn't it?
People can change for the better, but they absolutely never change for the worse. If your marriage goes off track, then you just married her for these reasons, and that's how you were thinking the whole time. That's what he's saying. You were never. this has like no true Christian vibes to it. In turn, it's just applied to marriage. In fact, when you rebuild your marriage with agape as its foundation, then the friendship and romantic aspects of your love become more endearing than ever before. So if you love your wife unconditionally, you're going to get some, I think is what I hear him saying.
Yeah. Going back to that Eros. You know?
When your enjoyment of each other as best friends and lovers is based on unwavering commitment, you will experience an intimacy that cannot be achieved any other way. But you will struggle and fail to attain this kind of marriage unless you allow God to begin growing his love within you. Hey-o. Love that bears...
That was pretty good. That was pretty good, though. Pretty good.
Love that bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. 1 Corinthians 13:7 does not come from within. It can only come from God. So, whatever.
So we're back to square one.
Yeah, it seems like whose responsibility is to engage this and whose fault it is if it doesn't work is a little muddy there. If you say it all comes from God, but same old thing.
Mm-hmm.
The scriptures say that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor things present, nor things to come, nor powers, nor height. Well, he's really milking the Bible here to pad this out. Nor depth, nor any other created thing will be able to separate us from the love of God, which is in Christ Jesus our Lord. Romans 8:38-39. This is God's kind of love. And thankfully, by your choice, it can become your kind of love. But first, you must receive it and share it. And don't be surprised when your spouse begins living confidently under its shade, if he or she doesn't become even more lovable than you remember. You will no longer say, I love you because. You will say, I love you, period.
Wow. First of all, she's not lovable. We established this. None of us are lovable. And we're only loved because God loves us. Also, I feel like we just went in a maze and then like came out of the maze, but we're back at like the entrance. Like we didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
On the one hand, your marriage can't work out if it's built on the wrong principles. On the other hand, apparently it can work out if you follow God and just kind of like God kind of handle things, I guess. What's the solution? What are we working towards?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
It's all just vague fluff. So like there's nothing to take from this other than you should make sure your spouse feels confident in the fact that you're basically there for them. Like everybody wants to feel that way. And it should be to some extent. Like there should be an element of unconditional love in that your reaction to the person isn't just completely flippant and always based on some transactional response to what they do for you. That's obvious. But then it's not purely unconditional to the point where, like you said, if they suddenly become a Nazi, go on a shooting spree, that you just don't see them any differently. Like,
yeah.
And that can sound pedantic, but that's where all the useful substance of this conversation is. So
yeah.
if you just say like react to them the same no matter what and just love them for no reason other than that you choose to love them, and the alternative is, well, you're just horny, and you, as soon as that goes away, then you know,
shut up, you only love me because you're horny. That's it. That's what this entire marriage is based off of.
You start hating your wife with every moment of post-nut clarity. Like that's kind of what he seems to be describing, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, like this, if you got married in Vegas after a weekend, maybe you need to hear this. Other than that, I think the rest of us are good, you know? Yeah, like you said, this is for a very narrow group of people that isn't probably in the habit of reading books. So
if you just got married in Vegas and you have zero emotional and interpersonal intelligence, then yeah,
right.
This book
is for you. Yeah. Well, that may have been one of the more confusing and useless ones so far. Yeah. I gave it a 3 out of 10.
He seems like he's in a race to the bottom in terms of uselessness with every chapter, but
it's true.
So you want to see what today's dare is? How you
Yes,
do a
what's-
dare to show that you're unconditional love?
Give me the dare. Give me the dare. I want to give my unconditional love. Let's do it.
Do something out of the ordinary today for your spouse. Something that proves to you and to them that your love is based on your choice and nothing else.
How
Wash
the
her
fuck
car.
do you do that? Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay. Sorry. I'm speaking too fast. Go ahead.
Wash her car, clean the kitchen, buy his favorite dessert, fold the laundry, demonstrate love to them for the sheer joy of being their partner in marriage.
I'm sorry. How does folding the laundry prove that you're in a marriage for the right reasons? Can you tell me that? Can you explain that to me? Because I feel like you could just do that. You know?
So a couple things about this. Number one, having unconditional love isn't something you can do as a task or like perform
Yeah.
one day.
That's what I'm confused about. Let me
And
prove
number-
that my love for you is unconditional by washing the fucking dishes for you. Like what? Okay.
Number two, this is just repeating a previous love dare, which is do something nice for somebody one day.
Right.
He's just putting something that proves that your love is based on choice. He's throwing that in there to make this about unconditional love. Number three, the very premise of this book is that as you do each of these things, you're hoping that your spouse in this strained or broken marriage is going to start coming back to you. And that's what's modeled in the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like it's really sorry. It's really it's just really hard to see this as inherently unconditional when the whole point is even if it's in the long game is to get a different reaction out of your spouse. How is what you do here unconditional? I don't know. There's some kind of transactional motivation to it, even if it's delayed gratification.
So I hate to tell you this. I think we got scammed.
Are you saying you think this book is not good?
Something tells me we shouldn't have bought this book. Oh no.
Hey, it was just a couple dollars and I bought it with store credit. So
oh wow. Man.
All right. And here's the question. Has your love in the past been based on your spouse's attributes and behavior or on your commitment? How can you continue to show love when it's not returned in a way you hoped for? All right, whatever.
Just keep on keeping on. That's the advice.
All right. Final thoughts for the night?
2 bad chapters
in
one night can take a lot out of me. But what?
Oh, yeah, they were just both fluff, basically. That's what
basically. Whenever I'm in trouble and I don't know what to do, I'm just gonna ask myself, what would Jim do? Jim Caviezel. What would Jim Caviezel do? And he would say, respect other members of the craft and respect your spouse by doing their chores. And I think that's the takeaway.
And that spouse's name was Albert Einstein.
Agape Einstein.
Hey, good night, everybody.
Voy a cantar esta canción con mucho cariño de mi corazón a la República Dominicana, la casa del merengue y la casa de la bachata. Voy a cantar esta canción con mucho cariño de mi corazón a la República Dominicana, la casa del merengue y la casa de la bachata. La 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 la, la casa del merengue. La 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 la, y la casa de la bachata.